Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Emmy the Cat Lady, and you join me back here in Boston, or what has now been unofficially termed New Glasgow. I don't know if there's any folks watching that are in Boston in real life, but the Tartan Army has descended and they seem to have been having an absolute ball in Boston, having a great time with watching baseball games and playing bagpipes and partying and things. It's been really fun to watch from social media. Obviously, the World Cup is going on and Scotland is back in the World Cup for the first time in 28 years. And the Tartan Army are among the best sports fans in the world. They know how to party, but they also raise a lot of money for charity, and Boston, it seems, has been having a great time with them, so that's been kind of fun. This place has definitely seen better days compared to real life, but yeah, it's been quite fun to see all that. So we're here at the West Roxbury area, so we're actually just behind where we were last time, West Roxbury Station, so we're going to pay a visit to Shaw High School, which is this funny looking building, this school here. I have visited this place before on the channel when we talked about the principal here, and also a kid called Rusty Burton, who got up to some interesting shenanigans in this school, which is quite an interesting story, so I will link that video for you guys if you've not seen it. But essentially, it's a kind of modern designed public school where there was some dodgy dealings happening. So in August of 2076, there was an issue with low test scores, and the principal, who was Principal Ronald Tanner, basically failed his Vault Tech salesman career, so decided to take up a new career in education. And basically, the way it would work is that the better the test scores, then the better the money that they would get from the government for education, things like that. So they had to pull up the test scores. So he came up with a bit of an interesting plan. I'm not sure if we're going to see.
There we go.
There we go. Yep, so school has seen quite the jump in average standardised test scores as of late. Congratulations are obviously in order, since leadership starts at the top, and I will be accepting Administrative Officer of the Year award at next month's school district meeting. I've asked that I keep my speech short, so obviously I've kept my thanks to those closest to the project in order to focus more time on my thoughts and plans for the coming years. Great for a teacher to make a spelling mistake, but here we are. So even the smallest contributions, essentially he's taken credit of it for all the improved test scores. And while you might hear rumours of budget increases to our school, while some of these rumours may be true, the increase will probably be minimal and will be allocated to equipment and facility upgrades. However, I have earmarked a portion of the budget for a faculty/staff mixer this next weekend from the hours of 6 o'clock to 6:45. So yeah. In case you hadn't figured out from that, basically he wanted to boost the test score so that he would get more money, which he is embezzling. So talking about a delay in the upgrades that he's looking into, top men are looking into the shipping error, which means actually it's not happening and I'm just going to keep putting you off. And just work with what they have available. And the equipment that helped to raise the test scores to receive the budget increase. It's very unsubtle. And then there's one that gets sent that gives all the teachers and staff the week off, and changes grading for Mr. Wellborn's history class from A to A- instead of A to F. Yeah, so clearly that wasn't actually sent by the principal, but apparently enough of them believed it, so he's just like, I'm disappointed in how gullible you were, which is also spelled wrong. Yeah. So there's definitely been some shenanigans happening in this school, all to do with boosting test scores to get a bigger budget and all that kind of thing. And I'm pretty sure this is the principal's office in here.
Got it.
Yeah, there's this terminal here. Yeah, so he's getting harassed about test scores and he's about to lose the job that he hates. So he's not actually happy being an educator, and he is just like, what am I supposed to do here? There's got to be some way to get these little shits to study harder, which is lovely. Allowing corporal punishment, but somebody will write a letter. So yeah, he's like, what am I supposed to do here? And then it comes up with a list of students. And this is his plan. So he's picked detention regulars, so basically some of the worst behaved students that know how to get things done under the radar, and setting them up with mentats. So they're going to distribute these mentats through the student body, and they get longer lunch periods and better test scores, and then he waits for the federal funding to come rolling in. So that was basically the plan, was he was going to get these badly behaved students to secretly distribute mentats to make all the students smarter, so that they would then improve their test scores and he would get more money. And he's looking forward to summer. He's going to have a lot of fun while his wife is away, and he has to meet with Rusty Burton to finish things off before the end of the school year. And I think we can open the door. Yeah. Yeah, that opens the door. Behind us, which is a storage space, so there's plenty of mentats. So that's one of the things that you're going to find here, is a lot of mentats, unsurprisingly, because the principal had them being handed out to all the students in the place, which is an interesting choice. But yeah, so one of the students, Rusty Burton in particular, he started taking the mentats himself, so we will get to exactly what happened with him shortly. So there is some traps and stuff in here. It's obviously a science classroom. Yeah, well, you're not getting any food from me. But yeah, we can kind of wander around. We can see, the different classrooms and stuff that are all set up. I'm just gonna ignore the super mutants. Maybe they just came here for an education as well. Who knows?
Let's play, little human.
Oh, there's another overdue book. Another lunchbox. Oh, quantum. An ice cold Nuka-Cola quantum.
Something there.
That was funny. Here we go. Student terminal. This is what I was looking for. So yeah, you can find the principal's office key. So this little kind of computer room here, there's a student terminal and Rusty's lunchbox. So that gets you the key for the principal's office. And Rusty's journal is here. So I'm not going to go through these in detail because I have done that in the previous video. But one thing that I think is very interesting is that he's, talking like typical school bully. So he got in there to fix up the computer, but still taking his lunch money. But what you notice as you go through the entries is that his kind of vocabulary and things changes. You can see his intelligence improving on the mentats, essentially. It's one that the old Rusty wouldn't have pieced together, so he's realising like these mentats are actually helping him and making him smarter. But he has figured out that the principal is basically looking for more money. And then we get to his master plan. So he's got the key, he's got a copy of the key, and he went into the office and read his log. So he's using the raised test scores to increase school funds and pocketing most of it. So he's like, no, we're going to meet in the library. And basically he's going to blackmail the principal so that he can get a share of the cash. Which, you know, is something that's kind of an intelligent move. More books and stuff. Unsurprisingly, inside the school, there's a lot of books.
I'll wear your guts around my neck! Face me, you coward!
Yeah, more classrooms. Goes back to the science classroom.
I can smell you out there, little sneak! Where'd you go, huh? Gotta find you! Gotta kill you!
Okay. Just
Nice.
You have to come out sooner or later.
okay, you can get you can get the key for the library from the principal's office. I must have missed it on my way through.
What?
And that lets you get in here. There is a turret in here, which is interesting. I'm not really sure why there would be a turret. Got some mines and stuff as well. It's a hostile turret, fair enough. But yeah, we've got the library here. A lot of burnt books. And other bits and pieces. Yeah, we've got this room here, so you've got your steamer trunk, the usual kind of stuff that you would find at the end of a dungeon. There's a copy of Unstoppables, which is issue number 1, so 1% chance of avoiding all damage from an attack, which is nice. More mentats, overdue books, so there's 3 in here, so I think there's a total of 8 in the whole building that you can find, as well as Vault Tech lunchboxes to collect across the place. Most of them are in the cafeteria. And that means that the thing that we're looking for... Okay, well, if you're going to just get in the way... I think this is the room. Which I must not have done it on this character.
Yes.
No, I did not. There it is there. So this is the holotape, which tells us the conclusion to the story of Rusty Burton and Principal Tanner.
Spineless human!
Who do you think you're talking to, sir? You know what?
Let's play, little human! Can't hurt!
I'll shut you up. Anyway, I'm feeling a bit sassy today with these Super Mutants. Anyway, yeah, so this holotape here.
Alright, Burton. I'm here. Hurry up. Out with it. I have a lot of plans for this summer, and none of them involve chatting with you.
Why, Ronald, I'm hurt. Skipping the pleasantries and getting right down to business. And after all we've accomplished together this semester.
For the last time, you little snot, it's Principal Tanner.
Fine, Principal Tanner. I'll make this quick. You've been giving me mentats to distribute to the students quietly and under the nose of the faculty. I have. Because of this, test scores have skyrocketed. The school board has noticed. We received quite an increase in funding, but the faculty doesn't know. No one here knows except you. And now, me. You've been skimming off the top and pocketing most of the funds. I want 50% of what you're embezzling, or go to Superintendent Marcella with this.
What? How did you... When did you get so smart?
You've been giving me brain pills every week. What did you expect, you pathetic little man?
Well, so what if it's all true? No one's going to believe you. You're just a kid, and I'm the principal, and more importantly, an adult.
Oh, I think they'll believe me, Ronald. Especially after they hear you admit everything in your own words.
What are you talking about? Wait. Is that a holotape? You son of a...
And then it cuts off. So, yep. Rusty figured out that he was embezzling and was like, nope, I need to get a cut of this, and blackmails him and records it so that he has the leverage he needs. The actual outcome after that, I mean, obviously, you can tell from the wording, although the voice acting is not the best I've ever heard, but the principal's obviously quite angry about being blackmailed, which is fair enough. Most people would be. And whether... we don't really know exactly what happened after that. There's no skeletons in here, and obviously it was kind of locked away, so maybe he agreed, and then the bombs fell and everything kind of, put a damper on that. He wasn't going to get any funding when the government was gone and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a good location for loot and stuff. You say you've got the Unstoppables comics, which are quite fun. There's a lot of gore bags, which are always good for caps and ammo. Plenty of Super Mutants to deal with. The overdue books, especially if you're wanting to get the Massachusetts Surgical Journal out of the library, the Boston Public Library, and you need quite a lot of overdue books to get that, so there's quite a few here. You also get quite a few of the lunch boxes if you're collecting them for any reason, and there's also a minimum of 29 boxes of Mentats to be found scattered throughout the school. So if you're on the hunt for more of them, then it's a good place to come. And I do really like the story between Rusty Burton and the principal. I think it's quite funny and kind of puts me a little bit in mind of Matilda in some ways. It's adults like, well, I've got more credibility just because I'm an adult, and kids outsmarting adults in ways. That's kind of a thing. I mean, that's kind of a theme in a lot of Roald Dahl's children's books, was, the kids actually outsmarting the adults, which can certainly happen. But I know Matilda was a favourite of mine growing up. I read a lot of Roald Dahl books as a child. I read a lot of books, full stop, but I read a lot of Roald Dahl books when I was young. Definitely counted them among some of my favourites. So it's a fun story. I say I'll link to every time I come out of a building in this area, there's a pack Brahmin wandering past. It's really weird. Anyway, I'll link to the video about the story of Rusty Burton and Principal Tanner that I did in depth. It was quite a while ago now, actually, that one, if I remember rightly, but I'll link it for you guys if you've not seen it. It's a very entertaining little story that you can piece together. And that'll be that. So we've still got this area. We've got the hospital, which is there, and then the parking garage opposite as well to explore. So that'll be happening over the next couple of weeks. And on Saturday, we're starting the new Science of Fallout series. We're getting into psychology and how to kind of explain the outcome of some of the Vault experiments, not necessarily what Vault-Tec wanted, but what happened, and looking at some of the kind of psychology behind it, because certainly human behaviour is fascinating in a number of ways, and I think that it's always something that can be really interesting. It might involve some pretty heavy topics though, so just to be aware of that for protecting your own mental health, that we might be getting into some topics that could be quite heavy for some people, but I will do my best to kind of warn ahead of those and handle it all as sensitively as I can. But there's certainly a lot of interesting things based on, what happened in some of the vaults, and particularly going back to an old favourite here, we're going to start in Vault 11 because there's a lot of different factors that went into the outcome of what happened in that vault, which I think really highlights how the reason that most people say that Vault 11 is one of the most horrific vaults in all of Fallout, because of how everything played out, and I think that's something that I do want to really kind of take a deep dive into, so that's going to be starting on Saturday. And also, for hopefully going to have that done by the end of this month, we're going to do a character deep dive into Ulysses from Fallout New Vegas. So he's a character that I find fascinating. I think there's, he's a very complex character, there's a lot to him, and I think it's very, very interesting. So we're going to take a real deep dive into Ulysses. I'm hoping to get that ready by the end of the month, if my health decides to cooperate, because I've been having a bit of a serious back pain flare up this week, which is highly annoying and inconvenient. So hopefully that's going to ease off and I'll be able to get everything kind of put together for you guys. But yeah, that's me signing off for now, so thanks for watching and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.